You clicked on this video because the title challenged something deep inside you. Stop trying to improve yourself. A contradiction, a paradox, and yet something in you knew there was truth in it. Everywhere you look, someone is trying to sell you the next step in becoming a better version of yourself. Do this, buy that, fix your mindset, hack your habits, build your empire, and underneath it all is one insidious belief. You are not enough as you are. Let's pause there. What if you stopped? What if you stopped the desperate search to fix yourself and instead began to live? We've been trained to believe that we are machines with upgrades pending, that each day is a test to pass, that life is a scoreboard of optimized performance. But the truth is much older than all of that. The truth is you already hold within you everything needed to live well. Not after you lose weight, not after you read 20 books, not after you become rich. Now this second, yet you are distracted, not by the world, but by the false image of who you think you need to be. You chase shadows. You drink from empty cups. You run from yourself, calling it growth. There is a time for sharpening the sword, but the warrior who sharpens his blade endlessly and never enters the battle lives a life of illusion. You want clarity? Stop moving. Stop reaching. Look around. What's in your hands? What's already within you? We become afraid of simplicity. The mind races because we believe motion equals value. But motion without direction is chaos. The wise have always known this. They wrote not to impress, but to remind us. Sit with yourself. No music, no podcast, no scroll. Just you. What do you feel? Restlessness? Boredom? Fear? Good. That means you're finally seeing what you've been avoiding. The silence speaks, but only to those who listen. Stop trying to become someone. Start noticing who you already are. You are not broken. You are distracted. If you could only quiet the noise, you would remember you are not meant to constantly hustle. You are not meant to endlessly grind. There is strength in stillness, in awareness, in deliberate steps. Let go of the belief that you must always be changing. There is power in consistency. Great men have achieved much not because they always transformed, but because they held firm to who they already were. Courage does not come from books. It comes from decisions. You become brave not by reading about boldness, but by acting in the face of fear. You learn not by collecting information, but by stepping into discomfort. Consider the man who waits for motivation. He waits forever. The fire is not lit by inspiration. It is lit by friction, by failure, by the raw process of trying. Most never try. They plan, they prepare, they theorize, but the world changes for those who move. All your ideas are meaningless without action. All your potential is dust without risk. All your dreams are delusion without discipline. There is a voice in your head saying, "I'll start when I'm ready." But that voice lies. That voice has always lied. That voice has kept you comfortable, and comfort has killed more dreams than failure ever could. Look back at your life. When did you grow most? Was it when things were perfect? Or when you were uncertain, scared, raw? You grew when you were pushed. You learned when you fell. You discovered who you were in the cracks, not the peaks. So why do you fear imperfection now? Do not wait to be whole to begin. Begin, and you will become whole. The man who walks slowly still reaches his destination. But the man who never moves because the shoes aren't perfect, the weather isn't ideal, the path isn't clear, he dies standing still. Forget perfection. Seek progress. Forget image. Seek substance. Forget applause. Seek truth. You will not be remembered for how optimized you were. You will be remembered for what you stood for who you lifted, for what you built even when the world told you not to try. What if you stopped thinking so much? What if you stopped analyzing every decision like it would define your life forever? Most of what you worry about never happens. Most of what you fear is smoke with no fire. Most of what you believe about yourself was never chosen by you. It was handed to you. You can put it down now. You are not your past. You are not your metrics. You are not your productivity. You are the choices you make when nobody's watching. You are the values you defend when it's inconvenient. You are the peace you hold when the world loses its mind. So let the world chase its tail. You are not here to race. You are here to realize. Realize your power. Realize your presence. Realize that you already have what most are still looking for. You don't need another course. You don't need another tutorial. You don't need another system. You need stillness. You need silence. You need space. Because in that space, your real self returns. Not the one who is always behind. Not the one who is always improving, but the one who is aware, awake enough. When you reach this place, you act from intention, not insecurity. You speak from clarity, not from a need to impress. You live from conviction, not comparison, and you do more. Not because you're forcing it, but because it flows. Real improvement is not something you chase, it's something you allow. It emerges when you stop forcing. It appears when you let go. It grows when you finally stop digging up your roots. A tree does not constantly question if it's growing. It roots deeper. It stretches upward. It trusts the process of becoming. So should you. There is a reason so many ancient minds wrote about stillness, about solitude, about focus. Because in a world obsessed with doing, they understood the value of being. You are enough, not because you've done everything, but because you're here, breathing, listening, trying, and that trying does not have to be perfect. It just has to be honest. So take off the armor, drop the script, forget who you think you should be. Remember who you are when no one's looking. That is the foundation. That is the path. That is the truth. And that is where all real growth begins. Not in noise, not in hustle, not in optimization, but in the quiet return to yourself. Now go. Do one thing, not to prove your worth, but to express it. Do it imperfectly. Do it with doubt. But do it, and tomorrow do it again. Not because you have to, not because you're not enough, but because you are, and always have been. You've carried that truth in you since the beginning. Beneath the noise, beneath the striving, beneath the fear, it was always there. It doesn't matter how far off the path you've wandered. You've never been without the strength to return. You've never been without enough light to take the next step. What has made you suffer isn't that you've been unworthy, but that you forgot you already were. Look around you. People are running, chasing, upgrading, grinding. But to what end? They're building towers on sand, mistaking movement for momentum, progress for peace. But those who know, those who have seen clearly, have always known, stillness is the foundation of mastery. Stillness is where your mind stops spinning long enough for your soul to speak. In that space, you remember, you are not your thoughts. You are not your goals. You are the witness, the one who observes, the one who decides. You have everything you need, not someday, but right now, to live in integrity with yourself. The great lie of our age is that you need more to be more. But the truth is, you need less. Less distraction, less comparison, less noise. Do less, be more. There is strength in doing the same thing every day, not out of stagnation, but devotion. The man who shows up to the same path daily, with focus, with presence, with humility, he becomes a force. Not because he is chasing perfection, but because he is practicing truth. A disciplined life is not a trendy life. It is quiet. It is grounded. It is consistent. But from that place of simplicity, real power emerges. Start saying no, not to growth, but to noise, to fake urgency, to shallow ambition. Say no to the idea that you need to become someone else in order to matter. Let your effort be rooted in acceptance, not in shame. Let your habits be built on peace, not panic. Let your vision be born from clarity, not desperation. Stop waiting for a future where you finally become worthy enough to begin. That future never comes. The only door is now. The only moment that matters is the one you're in. Right now in this breath, you can return. Return to what matters. Return to what is yours. Return to the parts of you that have been waiting patiently while your mind chased illusions. You were not made for this frantic scramble. You were made for depth. for connection, for quiet confidence that does not beg to be seen. The warrior does not talk about discipline. He simply lives it. The builder does not fantasize about the castle. He lays brick after brick. The wise do not debate identity. They act in alignment and let the world catch up. And so can you. Go outside, feel the wind. Watch how the trees don't apologize for standing tall. See how the river flows? Not because it has a goal, but because it's free to move. When did you stop trusting that you could simply move? When did you decide you weren't allowed to start without a plan? When did you trade your intuition for algorithms? You don't need more data, you need more courage. The courage to delete the to-do list and ask, what matters most today? The courage to silence the phone and listen to your own thoughts, even if they scare you. The courage to act from who you are, not from who they expect you to be. It's not easy, but it is simple. The moment you stop trying to impress, you can begin to express. The moment you stop running, you can begin to rise. Your value is not earned, it is recognized. Your identity is not constructed, it is remembered. Your purpose is not manufactured, it is revealed through action. So stop trying to improve yourself like you're a broken tool. Start honoring yourself like you're already a masterpiece in motion. You are not a project. You are a presence. You are not an algorithm. You are awareness. You are not a brand. You are a being. And you don't owe anyone a transformation. You only owe yourself the chance to be real. The man who gives himself permission to begin imperfectly begins to move mountains. The woman who speaks from her scars instead of her scripts begins to heal others. This is not about less ambition. This is about deeper ambition, the kind that builds from the soul, not the ego. So ask yourself, what would you do if you didn't have to prove anything to anyone? What would you create if no one was watching? What would you pursue if failure wasn't shameful but sacred? Because it is sacred. Failure is the fire that tempers the sword. Doubt is the fog you walk through to see clearly. Every moment of resistance is a test of your commitment, not your capability. You are capable, more than you know. You are allowed to begin again. You are allowed to shed identities that no longer serve you. You are allowed to make peace with yourself before the world gives you permission. And yes, you will fall short. Yes, you will question everything. Yes, you will feel lost. But don't confuse that with failure. That's just the path. That's just the process of becoming, not perfect, but fully present. And that is more than enough. You are not here to impress the world. You are here to express the truth, not someone else's version, yours. So breathe deep, drop the mask, walk forward, and remember, you don't need to improve yourself. You just need to return to yourself, because who you are is finally ready to be seen. Repeat this truth until it is louder than your doubt. Return to this place when you are lost. Remember that becoming isn't always about striving. Sometimes it's about remembering. Your life isn't behind some paywall or waiting at the end of a perfect routine. It's here now, with breath, with choice, with presence. There is no final version of you, no finish line that makes it all make sense. There is only today, and how fully you choose to live it. So live it, deliberately, sincerely, bravely. Stop trying to improve yourself. Start trusting yourself. Start building from here, and watch who you become, not by force, but by faith.